to Republican Indiana Senator Mike Braun. Senator, where are you on this?
For me, Neil, it is easy. When I look at the process and how this all happens in the first place, the chronic deficits we have, I believe infrastructure along with defense are two of the things we ought to do here, but do it in a sensible fashion. 417 earmarks were in a few appropriation bills the other day, so that's being resurrected. I've never seen a feeding frenzy or an abandonment of what normal companies, local, state governments would do with the process of budgeting. I was against it there. When you look at the merits of the case of the bill itself, yeah, we're going to be awash in dollars for a lot of things that many people want, especially K Street, but we've added, since I've been here, and this is the most astounding thing to keep in mind, nearly $10 trillion in debt. From the time I got here in January of 19, we're going to put another 4 to 6 out there, and none of that ends well in the long run. So I was against it for that. Plus, it's got fake pay-fors. Even the CBO said half of it is not paid for, and the rest of them are squishy. And that involves things like, well, we'll save money down the road, or we'll grab money here through a different thing that we'll do, or get more revenue into the Treasury from the economic development associated with it. That's not hard in terms of how you pay for it.
All right, so you sound like a no vote, certainly on this, the way things are going, Senator. I know you're a recent newcomer to Washington in the scheme of things, and as you've said, and we've gotten into in the past, spending does seem to be a bipartisan bent on the part of Republicans and Democrats as this debt piles up. It piled up under Donald Trump, even pre-pandemic, continues to under this president. Do you think we'll ever get a handle on that?
I really don't think so, because I view it this way. I call Democrats, and I almost hate to use the word with it, but this is a good way to understand them. They're political entrepreneurs, and their business is growing the federal government. We as Republicans are generally kind of the party of no, or I'm not interested. We get outmaneuvered on policy a lot. And this is what explains how we get here in the first place. It's the unholy alliance of our party rolling over to get mostly what we want on defense. And remember, I said that's the #1 thing we ought to do well here. Then we give them everything on domestic. And sadly, that's only 1/3 of our budget, discretionary spending. Over the years, they've come up with gimmicks like mandatory spending, similar to Social Security and Medicare, on a lot of other stuff. It's a broken system. Everyone is complicit, and it's mostly anybody that's been here. I think they have to shoulder the blame, and our kids and grandkids are going to just be annihilated with a debt and inflation bomb as a result of it.
Well, they've been in that pickle for quite a while, those kids and grandkids, right? But let me ask you something. I mean, obviously, you don't agree with your 10 Republican colleagues who supposedly are interested in this. The president, the former president, Donald Trump, has apparently threatened to withhold endorsements for those who might support this and help Joe Biden. What do you think of that?
I saw that, and I think that's, obviously political in nature, but has meaning. We've got the 2022 midterms, and that kind of thing will be an impact, especially on our side, of course. And I'm just wondering if the public will see through kind of the sugar high this economy is going to be on, and know that this is not the way to run any business, especially the biggest one in the world, our federal government, where we borrow on a normal year 23 cents of every dollar that we spend. So I think all that comes home to roost. And if we're not better as conservatives, as Republicans, of articulating what happens here, and then when we have the reins again to weigh in on policy that's important to the American public, like controlling the cost of health care, being involved in the climate discussion so we don't get belted with the Green New Deal, we'll be on the sidelines again.
Do you think that any of the 10 Republicans who do look at this and do like this will be influenced by that not so subtle threat from the president, from Donald Trump?
I think they definitely will, and there are a bunch of other doozies in there where they're injecting policy, like with the Equality Act. They know that they won't get that act across the finish line on its own merits unless they really spend all their political capital and breach the filibuster. But there's a lot of stuff embedded in 2,700 pages that'll drag bits and pieces of other gems that they've been thinking about in this bill, and then really hold on when we do the spending spree on the $3.5 trillion, which happens here in the next couple days.
Senator Braun, thank you.